Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike, and thanks for jumping on with us today. On Wednesdays, usually on Wednesdays, Rob interviews me. And today we're going to flip it around a little bit, and I'm going to talk to Rob about some things that fascinate me about when it comes to marketing ourselves, right? So let's kick it off with this. So Rob, what the hell happened to you? Did you get into a bar fight last night or what?
I did not. I had a strange incident last week of pleurisy and was in the hospital for a little bit, and then had a reaction to medicine, and it led to this. It's all good.
What happened to your eye? Did you get in a fight last night?
No, I didn't. I went to the dermatologist yesterday, and he had to do a little procedure there, and I have to wear this thing for 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, so now we're doing this, and for the people that are just on the call with us, they can't see you,
right?
So they wouldn't know anything's different. But we also record this so people can watch it later, and they're looking at you right now going, what the heck? He got in a fight. His wife had just enough of him. Aren't you embarrassed to be on video today with a Band-Aid over your eye and a black eye? And
oh man, it makes me look tough.
No, it really doesn't. You don't look tough. Aren't you a little self-conscious of it today?
No.
We have a couple of different things going on today. You've got to be up in front of a room full of people. We're on a video today. Aren't you walking around going, God, I look like such a goober today? Everybody's going to notice.
It's me, and it is what it is. You know, I'm not trying to impress anyone today. If I have a video to make, I'll wait till I get cleaned up a little bit and do it.
Too late. There's the camera.
Well, aside from this one.
So when we talk about marketing ourselves, and specifically the use of video, people get real hung up on how they look.
Yeah, they do.
Right? So you don't look so great today. You don't look very pretty. Any tips, or how do you get past that?
You just have to play it off. I mean, it's who you are. It's part of life. Play it off. Do like I did at the beginning of this. Make a quick joke about it and move on to the topic. No one is going to sit and focus on it unless you don't address it.
Okay. So you acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yep. So in your previous life, you worked at radio stations and you ran marketing for them. And I'm always fascinated by that because I think we have a lot of interesting personalities in real estate. But I'm just guessing you don't think that stacks up anywhere close to like radio.
That's weird. There's a little bit of an overlap in the middle, but the extremes are nowhere near. No.
So radio personalities, they had to be, like I listened to some sports radio and we've talked about that and some of my favorite and least favorite personalities. But I only know what I'm hearing on the radio. Right. You know these people in real life. You have to work around them every day. So, I always wonder about this, like people like Howard Stern or maybe even Rush Limbaugh. Are they like that 24/7? Or do they just turn it on when they go on the show? Were there some radio personalities that you dealt with that were a lot different in real life than they were on the radio?
Absolutely. And the really, really good ones have the ability to flip the switch when you turn the mic on. And in our instance, when the camera comes on or the lights come on, that's when you flip that switch. But in the radio business, you could be, and I've done this, being on the air for 17 years myself, I've been ordering a pizza for lunch on the phone and watching a timer click down to 7, 6, 5, and had to tell the pizza guy, hey, hang on 1 second, but don't forget, no pepperoni, hang on. And hit the button at 1 second and turned it on and, was like, and went into the break in full character and turned the mic off and go, I'm back, sorry. Don't forget, I hate pepperoni. And it's two completely different worlds, two completely different conversations. But in that world, hitting the mic was the trigger that triggered you to change personality. In this world, it's when you hit record on the camera. You need to turn it on.
So you said an interesting phrase that caught my ear there. You said, in character. Not you?
No. Well, I mean, maybe deep down some repressed part of me that
So
I
there's
let
a
out.
part of you that came out on the radio.
Yes.
There's a part of you that's at home. They're not the same guy.
No, no, they're not.
I know. You know, I've always thought that in real estate too. I tell everybody till the point where they're just sick of hearing it. Get up, get dressed, go to work. I get up, get dressed. Rob, in residence, so I've got, for those that can't see me, I've got a jacket and tie on today. Most days I do. But in 2021, not a lot of people do that.
Right.
Right. People, I go to church on Sunday and watch people dressed in a way that my mama would have spanked my little ass if I had tried to pull that off. But today, everybody thinks they could just go and do whatever they want to do. You can, but with the way I think about it is, I think about it like I'm putting my character on. I'm putting my uniform on. It gets me in the mindset. I turn into that guy. The guy I am here at work is not the guy I am at home.
That wouldn't
or
fly.
out on the golf course with my friends. They're totally, I guess there's some parts of me that resemble each of those people.
Yeah.
But who I am with my parents or with my wife or my friends and who I am at work, you wouldn't necessarily recognize the same personality. You found that the same in radio?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's two really strong parallels there that we need to make. In real estate, getting up, getting dressed, and going to work is the same trigger as in my industry turning the mic on. It's the same thing, that now I'm in this character. When that mic is on, you never broke character. You wouldn't hear, one delivery and one voice and one presence, and then hear, oh, I hate pepperoni. You don't hear people break character very often, and unless it's something really emotional. It happened a lot, honestly, on 9/11. I was on the air on the morning of 9/11. It happened a lot. A lot of people broke character because it was a very emotional moment. There was anger, there was emotion. That's the one time in my life that it's ever happened.
But it takes something that extreme.
It takes something like 9/11 to do it. Otherwise, turn the mic on, go into character. Get up, get dressed, go to work, go into character.
So we watch people get hung up on this, right? So I feel uncomfortable doing that. So I feel uncomfortable getting on the phone and making calls. I feel uncomfortable making videos. And while I understand where that's coming from, I also think it's a lot like this, is you haven't figured out how to go into character.
Right.
This isn't who I am as a person. This is what I do for a living.
Right.
When I get home, I'm a lot different. I'm not on, trust me, my wife ain't putting up with that stuff for 25 years. I know many of our agents here wonder, God, how can she live with him? Well, I'm not the same person at home. I think getting up and getting dressed in the morning, to me, is a lot like Superman going into the phone booth. Wonder Woman, what's she do? She spins around, right? Spider-Man, well, he's not Spider-Man all the time.
Right.
Who was he? What was his real? Do you remember?
Peter Parker.
Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He worked at a newspaper, right? He's a pretty mild, Clark Kent, pretty mild-mannered, unassuming kind of dude, till he goes into a phone booth, and then, oh, hell.
Right.
Right. And I think the trick for marketing for a lot of us is to have that alter ego. To have that, okay, so whatever your phone booth is, whatever your mic switch is, whatever it is where you switch characters. Your radio personalities that you worked with, did they all use their real names?
No, almost none of them.
That's not their real names?
No. There's legal names. We call them legal names. What's your legal name? If we were filling out a contract or something, we had to have their legal name.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Why do they do that? Why don't they just use their real name?
Well, it goes way back, but originally they started coming up with, a lot of legal names are boring, first of all, and not very entertaining. There's not many people born named Wolfgang Jack. But it's for entertainment, and also over the years there became a lot of stalking, and people could actually find you, look you up.
Does sometimes it help them be a different person?
Yeah, absolutely. You know when you're referring to yourself as that, you're in that character. That's who you are. When you turn on the mic and you say, "This station is, I am," and you go into whatever, you know you're in that character right then. And usually you turn it off when you walk out of the studio. Your environment too, the other side of that coin is your environment helps mold what character you're in and who you are.
So when you stay home and try to work from the kitchen table, you're messing with your character, right?
It's actually, the reason it's very difficult to do is the same reason that it's difficult for a lot of people to turn on their personality when they're outside of the studio. You're not in that environment. You're not looking at the same thing. You're not surrounded by the same tools. There's not a board in front of you. But your mind is going, you're saying be this character, but your body's going, I'm not in the place to be this character. And it's very conflicting.
I was president of my HOA, and we had this little neighborhood get-together thing last year when you could do that. And they wanted me to give out an award to somebody in the neighborhood, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. Let somebody else do it. And then they finally made me do it, and I was uncomfortable, and I rushed through it, and it wasn't done very good. And we're walking home, and Jane goes, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "That was terrible." I'm like, "Well, thanks." And she's like, "No, you do this all the time. You speak in front of thousands of people. You do this. I watch you at work, and you have no problem at all doing that." And I'm like, "Well, I wasn't at work. I was at home, and I don't want to be in front of people when I'm at home. I'm shy and reclusive."
Yeah.
Right. You messed up my world. So I agree with you. I think when people try to work from home, they're messing with they're not in character. They're trying to be at home, dude, but they're trying to work at the same time.
Yeah, and a side point to that, and it's important to know that you do see a lot of like radio personalities, media personalities out doing things, specials or appearances that we called them. When you go out to do that, those are very difficult to do because you're outside of your environment. And when you see, if you go to a concert and they'll usually be introduced by a radio personality or someone at the beginning, if you look off to the side, one side or the other of the stage, there's usually a guy walking around talking to himself and rehearsing everything and going over it probably with 2 or 3 beers stacked beside him, because he's trying to get the courage and get into his character, not where he in his normal environment. So it takes a lot more work to do that than when he walks in the studio doors. It just comes on.
We have an agent here in our office that doesn't use his real name. Bob Clarkson.
Really?
It's not his real name.
What is it?
That's his stage name.
Wow.
And he changed his real name for work purpose. At work, the only people in the world that call him Bob Clarkson are people that work with him. Really? And his life, nobody knows him by that. And his mom got really pissed off because he was named after her father. And when he changed his name for business purposes, it caused conflict in his personal life, so he changed it. I know several agents in Atlanta that have a stage name they use. Usually it's a one-word thing, like a Beyonce or Cher or something like, who these people are. It's one name. They do it for marketing purposes. It also helps them get into that alter ego in character. Folks, if you're struggling with this, if you feel uncomfortable making your calls, knocking on doors, making videos, whatever it is, going to networking events, maybe you don't have such a big problem at all. Maybe you just need to, as Rob said, get into character. And that hopefully will help you go out there and make it happen today.